Hi, I'm Ev. Welcome to Beambod. Today's lesson is a beginner handstand lesson and it's a follow along. So just follow along as I go through all the exercises. We're going to start with a wrist flow. Hands go flat on the floor, wrists are directly stacked under the shoulders here, and fingers are spread apart. Then we're just going to rock forward and back, and we're slowly starting to just put a little bit of weight through the wrists. Try to focus on keeping your elbows really straight through this movement. On the way back, now you can start to focus on pushing the ground away here, pushing back. From there, we're going to start to go into some circles. So loading a little bit of weight through all the parts of the hand and into all the fingers. And then now change direction. Okay, stopping there. Next, we're going to lift the palms up, but keep the fingers flat on the floor. So press the underside of your knuckles down into the ground, keeping the elbows straight and lifting up and down. We'll do that same thing, but with the fingers out to the side there. Pressing the palms up. The pressure should be underneath the knuckles. And fingers towards the body. If you need to give yourself a little bit of assistance with this one, all you need to do is take the knees a little bit closer to the hands and you'll be able to take a bit more body weight off the hands and wrists. Lastly, we're going to work on the back of the hand, so into some wrist flexion. Keep it really gentle with this one. Lowering down into a mini push-up. Again, just taking as much body weight as you need off the hands and keep it in your body. Now that the wrists are warm, we're going to warm up the rest of the body, starting with the shoulders. So let's get set up in a modified front support position, so it's a little bit easier. We've got the wrists directly under the shoulders, and we're just focusing on moving the shoulder blades. So we're pinching them together at the back like that. You'll notice your body comes closer to the floor, and then drive them apart and push the floor away. Okay, so that's one rep. We're gonna go for 5 more here. Pull together and then push apart and away. Keeping the elbows really straight as we do this movement. You'll be tempted to just sink down a little bit in the bottom, but really fight to keep your elbows super straight. Okay, from there, we're just gonna flip over. Hands are gonna go by our side, fingers pointing back, and we're doing some tabletop raises. Starting by opening up in the chest and shoulders and finishing up by lifting the hips all the way up. We'll go for 5 more here. Next one, we're going to stand up. Take our legs wide into our straddle position. Your toes can point slightly out, and we're going to fold at the hip. So the hips are going to go back, and we'll try to keep the spine as straight as possible. So we don't want to round forward in the chest. We want to just send the hips back. 3 more. Now, from this straddle position, we're going to take our body over to the side into a Cossack squat. So you're lunging over your ankle there and then coming up to standing. If you need to adjust your feet as you go, that's totally fine. If you do notice that your heel wants to come up a little bit and take you onto the toes, just stay up a little bit higher so that you can keep the heel planted firmly. Let's get into another round of those same exercises, starting again on the floor with the scap push-up. You can stay in the modified position if you like, but I'm going to show this round up on the toes, which is a little bit more challenging. So we're starting up here, we're going to go for our 6 reps. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Flip it over into the tabletop raises, same as we did in the last round. Open the chest. Next up, we've got our straddle forward fold. Remember to keep the spine up straight. And then finally, we're doing our Cossack squats. Again, let's go for 6 reps. If you find that you've warmed up a little bit and it's feeling good, you can go down a little bit into some extra range. So getting down a little bit lower. Now that we're nice and warm, it's time to get upside down. So we're going to be working through a conditioning session now. We've got 2 exercises we're moving through. The first is a decline chest to wall handstand. We'll rest, and then we're going to do an inchworm walkout, just with our knees in contact with the floor. So follow along with me. We've got 20 seconds work on each exercise and 20 seconds rest on each exercise. Okay, let's start with the decline. Hands go out in front. Remember, they need to be positioned in front of the shoulders. Elbows straight, and let's set and walk up the wall, and we're holding. Three, 2, 1, climbing down. Got 20 seconds rest, so you can just roll the wrists around a little bit. The next exercise we're going to be moving into is our inchworm walkouts on the knees. So starting on the knees here, hands out in front, mimicking our handstand position. Our body position with the pelvis tucked under, walking the hands out and walking them in. And rest. After this rest, we're back into the decline chest to wall handstand. You can play around with that a little bit each round. You can take your hands a little bit further out if you want, just to put a bit more pressure in the shoulders if you're finding your previous version a bit easy. All right, let's get set. Hands out in front, climbing up and holding. You can see I'm trying to push my shoulders tall and the floor away. Three, 2, 1, and climbing down. In terms of the inchworm, if you need to make that one harder, we just try to get as close to the floor as possible, walking the hands really far away. We get started in 10 seconds. Tuck the pelvis under, and let's get going, walking out. And rest there. Good job, guys. That's 2 rounds done. We've still got 3 rounds to go. So challenge yourself on those chest to walls if they're feeling good, or bring it back up if you need it to be a little bit less demanding on the shoulders. Alrighty, hands out and climbing up. And climbing down. Back into inchworms in 10 seconds. Let's get set, pushing the floor away, and off we go. Long steps. Common mistake we see in these inchworm walkouts, letting the pelvis stick out and the bum arch. So let's do that. Tuck back under and rest. Getting there, guys. We've got 2 more rounds of conditioning. Back up in 10 seconds. Setting the hands in position. Push tall in the shoulders and climbing the feet up. Focus on that really round low back. Don't want that sinking to happen here, so really fight. Three, 2, 1, climbing down. Getting ready for inchworms again. In 3, 2, 1. Notice how straight I'm keeping my elbows. That's another thing we want to be focusing on in all of our handstand conditioning work. Okay, rest there. We've got 1 more round coming up, final round. Okay, let's get our hands set. In 3, 2, 1, climbing up. Really load the shoulders. They should be behind the wrists. Keep fighting for this, guys. And climbing down. Got our last go coming up on inchworms. Set your position. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's go for this last rep really far. See if you can reach and hold, and then stepping it back in. And that was our final round for conditioning. All right, guys, so conditioning is done for the day, which means we're working into our skill section, which is always a lot of fun. So today we are just doing back to wall kick-ups. And if you've never been all the way up to the wall in your handstand before, it doesn't matter. You'll still be able to follow along with this section. You'll just be practicing more of a donkey kick. So I'll show you both options. Then we'll run through the timed work and we'll be doing one kick up every 30 seconds for 4 minutes. Okay, so let's have a look at the movement from the side here. We're going to be in a runner's stance essentially to begin with. You can see my shoulders, my wrists are directly under the shoulders. I've got one leg bent, which is going to be my pushing leg, and I've got one leg straight, which is going to be my kicking leg. So that's what you'll do if you're doing the donkey kick option and you want to work somewhere between the floor and maybe halfway to a handstand. If you feel more confident than that, you can kick all the way up. Now, it doesn't matter if your legs come all the way together or if they stay apart. The main focus here is just building some confidence, coming up to the wall and trying not to slam into it too hard. All right, I'm going to start the timer. We're going to work every 30 seconds for 4 minutes. Let's get set. 3, 2, 1, kick up. So just having a breather. We get to go again in another 15 seconds. One thing you can focus on in all of these kick-ups is a really good push away from the floor. 3, 2, 1, push the floor away in your shoulders, kick up. If you're up like I am, you can experiment bringing the feet together on the wall. And just bring one leg down towards the chest to come down. Five seconds and we're back up. 3, 2, 1. Just showing you a little bit of a donkey kick option. I'll do that for this next round as well. So runner's stance, pushing the floor away. We're going to look at a donkey kick, not going all the way up. Just need to focus really on where your hips are getting on top of your shoulders. Okay, 20 seconds before our next rep. You can just roll your wrists around a little bit. A couple more sets to go. Let's get set. Pushing the floor away. Strong set-up stance and kick up. If you manage to catch some balance, that's okay as well. Always good to roll the wrist in between the sets. Up again in 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. If you're feeling pretty good when you get up there, feel free to hold your rep as well for a couple of seconds in the handstand. We've got 2 sets remaining, so this is second last. Pick up. And a breather. And final rep now for this section. 3, 2, 1. Let's make it the best one. And coming down. And that's our skill section done for today. So we've finished skill work for today, and now we're just going to practice exiting the handstand. This is a foundational thing that you'll need to work on in your handstand journey so that you can build the confidence to handstand wherever you are. In beginner handstands, we do this on the wall and then we just exit off the wall safely. So let's go over how we're going to do this. We're going to place the hands flat on the floor and climb up into the decline handstand that we did in conditioning. And all we're going to do from there is take one foot off the wall out to the side. You want to try to make that as smooth as possible, but if it's not smooth to begin with, it doesn't matter. Let's do the other side. I always like to practice these using the outside leg going to the outside hand to avoid any crossing over and tripping. So this leg, my right leg's coming out to the side, jump and stand. Do the left side, left foot comes off. Sometimes what will happen is both feet will come off the wall at the same time, and that's fine as well. You might start like that and find that you fall, as long as you keep a really firm push, working your elbows out and keeping a good distance between your face and the floor. All right, guys. That concludes beginner handstands for today. Thanks so much for joining me for this workout, and we'll see you on the next video.